So today we want to learn about how to do terrace grading on an undulated landform. So the very first thing you'd need to understand is where is the landform and what are the contour lines consisting of. So here you can see these are all flat lines. I just imported them from another file where I drew them in a very flat surface, and right now they are not in the correct layer. All of them are in default layer, so we need to put our things into correct layers. So as you can see, this is 16, 19, 32, 36. So let's get to their correct elevations first. So as you can see, it's a pretty steep site, but we still do not have any contour lines going on. So let's go to our top view first and select all the layers, all the lines of the contours, and right click on the existing contour lines and change object layer. And as you can see, nothing is happening. So if I hit refresh geoset, I should have my contours. So this is consisting all the information that I gave it, and it's pretty nice except for this part. So if you like see these types of thing time to time, what you need to do essentially is you create a break line that goes through your contours. So let's create break lines, and let's just create one line that shows from where to which point it needs to go, because here we can see that there are some issues. So now if I hit refresh geoset again, it's kind of accurate. So now we have our existing contour lines, which is great. But now what we need to do is we need to calculate for this terrace. So as you can see, this let's just turn off our preview for the existing so that we can see better. So you can see that these corners are 30 feet, and then it's sloping 8% down towards this way, and then we need to place it on top of this contours. So first thing first, let's just take these 2 points and and put it on 30 feet. Great. This is going 8% down, so let's get our calculator. So to do the calculation, we know S equals dE divided by L times 100. Therefore, dE, because we need to calculate for the other corner, would be S times L divided by 100. So in our case, let's get our calculator out. S is 8% times, let's go and check dimension. So dimension is 30 feet. So from this corner to this corner, L, the length would be 30 feet, times 30 divided by 100. So that becomes 2.4. So this corner's elevation is 30 feet. So that would be 30 minus 2.4, which is 27.6. So these would go on 27.6. And let's turn this guy on. Now you can see nothing is happening. And why is that? Because so far we have worked on our existing contours, but at this point we want to create something. So this would be our proposed. So if you go to proposed mods and look for grade geometry, this is the thing that we are looking for. So make this our existing layer, and then within this layer, because this is not just a boundary, this is also a terrace itself, we need to create a plane. So if you click on the corner of this icon and select for surface from planar curves, that is the command, you will have an interesting surface that's our terrace, essentially. That's both on a cut and fill. But you can also see that this is not perfectly smooth. This is not really what we are looking for. So let's make it work. To make it work, as you can see, it's kind of working, but it's very jagged. This cannot be a construction drawing, because to be a construction drawing, it needs to be much, much smoother. So what we should do in this case is we should create a grade boundary. So that would be our smoothing boundary right here. And now within that layer, if I create a rectangle, we'll start to see as soon as I create that, it's starting to work, and then it creates a very smooth and accurate geometry. So as you have learned from your previous lessons, this is exactly what our regraded surface should look like. So this is working. So now let's make it even refined. If you go to your outputs and see for the contour spacing, you can see by default it's 0.5, 0.5. We don't want that. We want it to be 1, because usually we do 1 feet contour interval. So let's do that. It's working. And now, as you can see, as we were supposed to, we have two contour lines that are going through our 2.4 DE. So it's exactly right. That's one. But that's not the end of it, because if you go to our proposed, and then if you go for our modifications, you'll start to see there are some stuff that we don't want. So let's fix all those. So the very first thing you need to create is the slope percentage around our terrace. So by default it's 50%, but in our case I wanted to create a 33.33%, which is a 3:1. So let's do that. Double click this and 33.33, hit enter. It's working again. It's a lot of work, but you can see this has changed a little. So that's great. And then by default it has an offset from geometry. So if you go to the top view, see our grading lines don't start exactly from our rectangle. So if we don't want that, we can make it 0, and then this should be good. So as you can see now, as soon as I made it closer to 0, it's starting to intersect my terrace geometry, which is great. And also if you want more smoothness, you can create smoothing strength more or less, or like if you wanted less smoothing, or for smoothing iterations, this is a very powerful parameter. If you put it 3, you'll start to see that your contours will become a little more smooth. So that's how you create terrace grading with LandKit. Now if you want to get an output from this 3D model, the easiest way to do that would be go to your out. Then by default, you can see the topo analysis preview options are set to mesh, so set it to none. This is the first thing you need to do. And then all you need to do is bake topo contours. Now, with that, as it's working, it will take a little time. Give it a little time because it's again a lot of work. But after it's done working, it will create a new layer for those baked contours. So here you can see that's the layer, that's the topo contours. Great. Also, you can bake features, which is a great option to get your terrace outline out. So do that. And now with that, you have all your baked lines. So you can select all those. And put all of those into drawing sheet if you want to.